forgotten that we have constitutional rights. And that is one of the things that is making them to behave the way they do. In America, what is happening in Nigeria will not happen. In Britain, in Russia, and other places, in France, you name them, the countries, Western countries and advanced countries in the world, it will never happen. Never. The leaders cannot even try it. Because the people know their constitutional rights. They know their constitutional rights. If it was an advanced society that Ahmed Tinubu came on the 29th of May, 2023, the day of swearing in, and removed West Africa, I tell you what would have happened. He would have reversed it. I'm telling you. If we knew our rights, he would have reversed it. But you know that we're just zombies. Anything goes. And so we all get quiet. And Nigerians are good in talking. Talk. After they talk, an issue comes up, they talk for 2 or 3 days, and then they lay that one to rest. They look for another one. And just to talk. What do you achieve talking? And just talking. So that is the issue we're talking about. But you see that the Constitution, and almost all of us have heard that we have Constitution. And that is the supreme law of the land. Every other law is subject to the supremacy of the Constitution. The leaders you see are not obeying the Constitution anywhere. They are not obeying our Constitution. And because of our docility, they say we don't even have rights. They behave the way they behave shows that we don't even have rights. Because we don't even know our rights. But let me just say one or two things about constitutional rights. You have to know your rights. Whatever you are, as a student, you must know your rights. As a family member, you must know your rights. As a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you must know your rights. And when you allow people to trample upon your rights, of course, anything goes. And that is what we are suffering today. We have in chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, section 14, subsections 1 and 2, provide the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principles of democracy and social justice. Principles of democracy and social justice. Yes. Are we doing that? Are the people operating according to the principle of democracy and social justice? Is there social justice in our country? Are we obeying the rules of democracy? When people do things anyhow, rig elections and they are declared winners and all kinds of things, when your votes do not count, your votes don't count. When you are in your house, you didn't even go out to vote. People are voting on your behalf and all of that. And they declare somebody as a winner. That is not the principle of democracy. Any social justice. Social justice. The things that you are entitled to as a citizen or citizens of this country, do you have them? Do you have them? We don't have them. Oh, well, of course. They declared that you have free and compulsory primary education. Your children should have. Is it available? Free and compulsory. One of the children that are hawking, are they not born by parents? The ones that are hawking everywhere. And the national policy on education says that any child found not in school during school hours, the parents will be arrested and put and detained. Has it happened? How can you do it? The government that does not care about the people, the government that has not provided employment for the people, will go and arrest parents. Do you know that these children who hawk water, pure water, granite, all kind of are the breadwinners of some families? Are you aware of that? They are the breadwinners of some families. And you go and arrest them. Do you have the facility to accommodate all of those people and feed them? So, government is not doing that. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government derives its powers and authority. The powers and authority of government are derived from the people, from you and me. If the Constitution says, if we do not give them power, authority, they will have nowhere, nothing to function. Do they behave like people who derive powers and authority from you? No, they don't. And so that's why they're behaving anyhow, doing things anyhow. They don't care about us, whether we are dying or not. And that's why they can come up with policies that are satanic. And they go ahead, nobody challenges them. Because nobody talks, nobody will take any action. Of course, I'm sure many of you have known about our fundamental human rights. That one is for everybody. You know, you should know that. There are fundamental human rights, right to life, right to dignity of the human person, and all of that. So the important point I'm making is that we all have constitutional rights. They are there. But because we are not aware, and because we are not even active and following up and rejecting the illegalities of government takes us right. And that's why we are where we are today. I'm telling you, pointing to where we are today, that we are talking about coping strategies in a depressed economy. If we had done things right, if we had challenged the government, if we had opposed to the indecent and satanic policies and laws of government, they would never have had the temerity to remove the so-called, it's not, I call it so-called fuel subsidy. There's nothing, they are not subsidizing anything. They are not subsidizing anything. The money they are taking from us, from you and me, is a stolen money. They're not subsidizing anything. And so, look, let me just tell you. When church, God created all of us. God created all of us to be equal. And when some of these people are making themselves to be on top of us and march upon us, it is unacceptable to God Almighty. And we should challenge them. If we don't, it means, well, because God created us in his own image and likeness. We are like God. We are like God. If we are holy enough, there are many things that God does that we can do. True or false? What did I say? If we are holy, if we are not holy, we cannot. If we are holy. So, I have talked about the politics of fuel subsidy. Politics. There's no subsidy anywhere. They're just trying to get money. And that's what, since May 29th, 2023, they have been getting a lot of money from us. What new development have you seen in your environment? The governors go to Abuja every month to share the money. They share the money. And they come with robust pockets. That's all they tell you, the allocation has improved. It's the money they have collected from us. Allocation has improved. And so they have the opportunity of putting a lot into their pockets. Of course, that's what they have been doing. That's the truth. As an academician, as a professor, in the university environment, we speak about anything. Academic freedom. We have academic freedom. And we talk about anything about anybody without any restriction, as long as what we're saying is true. So, having said that, let us now look at the coping strategies. That is the main thing. In the situation that we have found ourselves now, our earnings are no longer enough to keep us afloat in our families. Everybody is managing. So what do we do? How can we cope? What are the strategies that can help us? Some people, let me tell you, I have said that many people are dying. Many people have died silently. You don't know them. There are people who cannot eat once. That is the truth. 0, 0, 0. And of course, if you don't eat for 1 or 2, 3, 4 days, the other world belongs to the person, isn't it? Not this one again. I talked about the woman who jumped from, I'm sure some of you saw it, jumped from whether the mainland bridge in Lagos and all of that, and automatically died flat. It was frustration and all of that. I was thinking in my mind, I said, if somebody was there to tell this woman, say, please, whatever, because he was there, everybody were watching, was there, demonstrating was going to. If somebody, I said, if somebody had told this woman, say, please, don't do anything, I will give you 2 million to take care of your problem. That woman wouldn't have died. That woman would not have died. There was frustration. All of that. So some of the coping strategies, I don't know whether the media people are following up. We have some of the strategies that can help us to cope. You reduce waste. Reduce waste in your families. You reduce waste is one of the strategies. You know, that time that you used to buy so many things and then you throw away some and all of that, you know, you can't do that anymore. So you reduce waste. Anything, buy, just cook what is necessary for the family. Don't entertain waste. You also reduce the size of your budget to be realistic. We are talking about coping what? What are we talking about now? Coping strategies. Coping strategies. These are some of the things that you do. You prioritize your necessities. Everything should not be important to you anymore. There are things, well, of course, you know, generally we have needs and we have wants. There are needs and there are wants. When you lump them together, you see that the size of your budget will be so big, out of proportion. So reduce even the needs. At this time, you must also reduce your needs. Wants, don't just want anything. I want this one, I want that. Because you don't have the resources, you don't have the money to do that. To take care of all of those things. You can decrease energy use. Energy, the power, electricity, the things you use in your house. Energy, you pay bills and all of that. Unfortunately, the so-called, what they call, I prefer to call them NEPA. You know, power holding company and all of that. Unfortunately, even when you reduce power use, they still come and give you an estimated bill at the end of the month, unfortunately. These are some of the things that we should have fought. They give you estimated bill, you go and pay. They come and threaten you, cut your light and all that, you can't pay, you see. The NEPA of 20 years ago and the rest of that, the workers were very responsible people. We have a lot of them who are irresponsible, very irresponsible. That's why when they go to there are some areas they go to. Those who have gone, they can shoot them. Or they threaten them. There are some areas the NEPA people will not go at all because their lives are at risk. So, cut your expenses. You know, a lot of us like to spend. We see this one we buy, we see this one we like, and this is not the era for that type of thing. Everything you see you like, and you want to buy. Especially women. I'm not biased, so. But especially women. They like to buy this, like to buy that. So now you have to cut down. You have to cut down on your expenses. In fact, also men. Men, it's not anything you do. You can't be doing big money again like that anyhow. You see, you give, I give. Your relations come, you say this one and this thing. So you have to be discreet, circumspect, and be careful how you manage your life. Because your family is very, very important. Of course, you live within your means. You must always live within your means. How much is your income? You know, there are people, budget is a statement of income and what? Expenditure. Budget. A budget is a statement of income and expenditure. There are people who do not define it that way. There are people who define that the budget is a statement of expenses. Just expenses. They will write all the things they want to do. They write. They are not taking cognizance of how much money they are earning or will be coming at the end of the month. So now, in this critical period, in this economic strangulating period, you have to be careful and maintain some credit here and there, here and there. Avoid buying new things.